and High Commissioners, the chairpersons, board and members of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and the Micro and Small Enterprise Authority, captains of industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. With the gracious permission of Your Excellency, I will invite the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Mr. Anthony Mwangi, to make some brief welcome remarks. Karibu Bwana Mwangi, briefly, kindly.
Your Excellency, the President, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, we are honored today to have you here with us to discuss about manufacturing agenda 20 by 30. We're grateful you've allocated time among all the things that you're supposed to do to serve the nation, and for that, we are thankful. Please clap for the President for being with us. Your President, as I mentioned to you earlier, this program is carefully put together. Initially, this program was supposed to be for SMEs. It was high-graded, and Honorable Moses Kuria has put us on our toes to make sure that it happens. We're grateful because through his direct leadership, the program will have 4 parts. 1, the big opportunity. The people who will be lined up will be giving big picture about specific value chains and the specific sectors. After that, we'll hear from the team that will talk about the enabling environment and what we need to do to achieve that dream. Some of the panelists, Linus has mentioned, that Your Excellency, you have done his job already because of the things that you've said before we came here. So he will not need to repeat in a lot of things that you said. And then after that, we'll hear from the government team telling us what they will do, what they need to do to be able to take us to Vision 20 by 30. And for people who may not have heard that before, Vision 20 by 30 is manufacturing contributing 20% to the GDP by 2030. Finally, and most important, Your Excellency, will be to award 10 out of 236 SMEs performed exceptionally well through a program that we've done with GIZ, and I've seen the team from GIZ is here. They were taken through capacity building, coaching, farm-level interventions, access to finance, operational efficiency, and 10 of them became the best. Some of them are displaying their wares out there, and you must have liked some of them. So, Your Excellency, without taking much time, Kenya is not doing very well from the Competitive Industrial Index by UNIDO. We rank 115 out of 152. May I remind you, Your Excellency, that the same was happening in the ease of doing business until your direct intervention, and I know because I was in that team, I was working for IBM then, that your direct intervention brought down or improved the ease of doing business from 136 in 2014-2015 to position 56 in 2019. So the Competitive Industrial Index at 115, we just need to use the same template and the same blessing that you gave us to bring it forward to below 50, perhaps in 4 years. And as I've mentioned, We met with him, and as usual, and I think the conversation you don't want to have today, you don't want us to have today, of lamenting, we lamented a bit, both the private sector and the government. And we said, oh, we are buying from you from Brazil, we are buying aircraft, we also want to sell to you. But you could see he was visibly getting agitated as we were talking and lamenting. And when he stood, he gave us a small example. And he told us, how much does it take you to sell frozen chicken between Nairobi and Jeddah? And he said here the answer, he said 4 hours to fly from Nairobi to Jeddah. But also he told us, from Sao Paulo to Jeddah is 17 hours. But they were selling chicken products worth $2.5 billion. Today, and maybe it's for context, as I finish, Brazil exports chicken close to a market, Middle East and Africa, South Africa $100 million, DR Congo $50 million. It is equivalent to all the exports that we do in this country, including tea, coffee, just chicken alone. So that, I think, is one of the conversations that we could have. Without much ado, Your Excellency, may I now invite the chairman of KM Board, Mr. Rajan Shah.
Your Excellencies, sir, invited dignitaries, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, it is a great delight for you to join, to have you join here to celebrate the role of micro, small, and medium enterprises in manufacturing and recognize SMEs who have demonstrated sheer efforts towards growth, resilience, excellence, and innovation. As Kenya Association of Manufacturers, we are cognizant of the role that MSC plays in the growth of this economy. As a result, we continuously hold them up and nurture them to grow their businesses, to take full advantage of new and emerging markets, frontiers, both locally and globally, as you have noticed during our tour around just a while back. Your Excellency, you have time and again spoken about your passion to turn around our economy. At the heart of this is the employment creation to the millions of youth without jobs, food security, and eradication of poverty, amongst others. We would like to assure you our commitment to support your cause, vision, and the plan. The share of manufacturing sector as a percentage of the GDP over the last few years has declined from 9.3% in 2016 to 7.2%, which clearly shows that we are not growing at the same pace as other parts of the economy. And this is what, as a manufacturing fraternity, we wish to turn around and even go beyond what was in the Vision 2030 of achieving 15% of GDP to now achieving 20% by 2030, hence calling this Vision 20 by 30. Your Excellency, with the manufacturing sector, as we desire to grow to 20% by 2030, we shall achieve 1 million extra jobs in this sector. And empirical evidence has shown that for every one manufacturing job, it creates 3 other jobs in other ancillary sectors. We shall also increase our tax base, and we desire by 2030 that manufacturing is 5.2 trillion of the GDP. At the moment, manufacturing contributes nearly 30% towards the tax revenue. And by expanding this, this clearly shows the potential and opportunities we have towards higher tax revenue coming from this sector. Your Excellency, CAM has outlined 4 key strategic areas of focus towards achieving this Vision 20 by 30. Firstly, global competitiveness. When we speak of the country's competitiveness, we are looking at our ability to sustainably produce goods and services for which there is a market at a price and a quality that the market is willing to pay for. Importantly, we no longer talk about local competitiveness, but global competitiveness, because not only should we be able to sell our products in the domestic markets more competitively than imported products, but also at the same time be able to compete in the export markets globally. For manufacturers to operate effectively and efficiently, they require a business environment that enhances competitiveness. This is through the development of policies and frameworks, sustainable frameworks, to boost industry's production, create sustainable jobs, and increasing investments. Particularly, the sector needs a predictable and reliable regulatory and tax regime. Predictability allows investors to make projections on long-term investment decisions. On the other hand, reliability gives the investment community confidence in the stability of the economic policy regime. The second component is export-led growth. Your Excellency, we have already heard how passionate you are about growing exports of this country, and we are completely aligned with you as a manufacturing fraternity. Manufacturing sector growth will not be achieved by solely relying on domestic markets. This calls for Kenya to leverage on products where we have a comparative advantage to grow our exports. This will enable us to improve our balance of payments and foreign currency reserves and enhance trade with our other EAC partners and the larger continental free trade that we are now about to get into. Global supply chains during COVID have also been disrupted, including the current Ukraine crisis, which has demonstrated the need for our nation to reduce our dependency on specific markets. Here lies the opportunity for Kenya, among other African countries, to benefit from reshoring and to fully take advantage of existing trade agreements, such as AGOA, EU EPA, amongst many others. Your Excellency, if we just take the opportunity under AGOA for the textile and apparel sector, we export 500 million shillings worth of value of goods to the US. However, the total opportunity is 500 billion. The leather sector equally has similar opportunities which can be captured. The third component, Your Excellency, is industrialized agriculture. What do we mean by industrializing agriculture? When starting with agriculture, we should have the end in mind, meaning what markets will we serve, at what cost, and at what quality. This is why the linkage between agriculture and industry is very crucial. We have taken a step further to find solutions that would enhance Kenya's food security through increased productivity, as well as adding higher value add for our exports. This productivity, increasing the productivity of crops that impact our food security, will bring down the cost of our basic staples, like our unga, and subsequently lower the cost of living. On the other hand, identifying crops with potential for higher value addition and that have a huge export opportunities will accelerate growth and hedge us against adverse terms of trade shocks. For example, as we just saw, how avocado can be processed and be converted into avocado oil and other extracts, pyrethrum to make into ingredients for insecticides, and cotton to make into fabric. The final, and by far not the least, it's as important, is SME development. SMEs have continued to demonstrate their ingenuity and capacity to meet the country's needs over the years. However, taxation, lack of access to finance, and inadequate capacity building are some of the hindrances that the SME sector has been facing. And this is where, as Kenya Association of Manufacturers, we are very committed to hold hands with our SME sector and to carry them and to grow them into medium-sized and large organizations. Your Excellency, as outlined in your government's plan, out of the 19 million people under the Kenya workforce, only 3 million people are employed in the formal sector, whereas the other 16 million, which are outside the tax base, are primarily in the informal micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. We need to find this is a golden opportunity for the country to grow this sector and to take them to the next level. Your commitments towards growing this sector of the economy is indeed timely and promises to unlock the potential of small businesses to implement the short and medium term. We highly appreciate the Hustler Fund, the 50 billion Hustler Fund that you are going to be launching, and we fully support that, and we hope that that fund can be used to grow this particular SME and MSME sectors. KEM remains committed to supporting manufacturing SME and positioning the industry prominently in the global markets. We will continue to showcase this ingenuity and innovation through forums such as this and the upcoming Kenya Manufacturing Summit and Expo. Your Excellency, it is my humble request and honor to invite you to also come and grace the 5th edition of the KEM Manufacturing Summit and Expo, popularly known as Changamuka Festival, which is going to be hosted at the KICC between the 1st and the 5th of November, where we shall showcase all the products made by